And I have the recorder back on. It is Monday, the 5th of November. I hope nobody showed up here early. At least too early. All right, let's see if this live trading alerts kicks off by itself without having to restart today. And we're off. Just make sure we give this a little bit of time. Nasdaq's trying to rally off 69.50. There's the Dow. I'm stalking DO, C's and Sienna. Spice up 72. All right, it actually worked here. C's is off. Now that shows that it's down, but in fact what I'm showing here is up 30 cents. But C's over 27. DO probably not till it gets around 14.75 to 15. Dow's trying to do a little bit of a move higher in the pre-market. At the open. Nasdaq's going lower. I bet you Apple's not helping. No, she's down $5. So we have a divergence in the markets here. There's my nugget. Go, baby, go. Trying to recover some of the losses over the weekend, I guess. I'm getting back to flat. My VIX is a little bit okay. And my SPY. I'm down a bit in SPY. It's stupid. Dow still rally. We're getting a bounce in the NAS. Okay, we have L showing up here. It says go to L. I'm going to L. L's at the high of the day over 47. We're 3 minutes in. C's took off over 27 and I missed it. I was over looking at other things. Little small one called NS, New Star Energy. Forget it. DO's crapping out. Not looking at anything else worth a hoot here. right, I'm going to look for L to do a little bit of a retracement. All right, Nasdaq's going to rally, and I might just be missing out on L. But oh well, can't chase it. Nasdaq hit a swing level and pulling back into chop. All right, L's running to 47.60, and I'm not in it, so bye bye, baby. C's popped all the way up to 27.67 and is already back to 27. Huge highway doji. Okay. All right, Nasdaq, possible long over 69.53. Don't know. Dow's extended. Can't be working on that puppy. Sitting tight right at the moment. I don't feel compelled to do anything here.
Order filled.
I just went long the Nasdaq. One contract. Gonna battle this area to the left. I should not have done that. Yeah, I'm going to be taken out probably here.
Stop filled.
Yep. All right.
Order filled.
Revenge trade.
Stop filled. Order filled.
I'm short the Nasdaq, obviously.
Target filled.
All right, I got back most of my losses. All right, let's go back over to stocks here. Nuggets back up to 1480. Getting the bounce of the NAS. New Star. No way. XHR I haven't looked at yet. Come on, update. This is just ridiculous. Yeah, over 21. That was too thin. Gonna bounce in Nasdaq and Dow's pulling back. Showtime. Over 15 on SHO. 1490, but that's pretty close to 15. Peggy over 19, basically over the high of the day. All right, I'm long some Peggy, 1907. Stops down here, 50 cents. Nasdaq back down to the low, triple, quadruple bottom, something like that. Sig Char's pulling back, lows just, that was the probably the trade of the day. Nugget and VIX are both working, SPY's not. Well, there goes Buddy. We've slowed down here on our live trade alerts, for the highs anyway. SHO, well, probably somewhere in this 1470 area based upon what I see over here from Friday. So, you know, you're talking probably 30 cents or more. Nasdaq went lower. So Dow's up, the Nas is down. All right, I need to step aside for 1 second. I'll be right back. What the hell are you barking into? Nasdaq's heading lower. Dow pulling back. Nuggets, I'm going to watch. I'm not going to be... I'll put the VIX up over here. Oh, come on. All right. So that VIX is working. Not a whole lot going on with Showtime. It's got a big spread. There's another problem with SHO, Valerie. I am very loath to go after stocks that have 20 something cent spreads, okay? You can give it up. You probably don't want more than about 10 cents early in the day. And we're already 15 minutes into the day. It only has 135,000 shares. We're not really getting a whole lot of, the big stocks today. The biggest trader is SYY, Cisco, the food company, and it's 1.4 million. The rest of them are under mostly 500,000 or even 250. So we're probably looking at nothing but ETFs or VIX maybe or something like that. Let's watch Peggy here. All right, Peggy's at 1916. It could get 19 and a half to $20, I think. She's on my high short interest list. We're not really getting a whole lot of movement though. I'm just gonna try to hang loose. Got a big seller right below 19 and a quarter. We'll see if that guy gets pulled back or eaten. Yeah, we're moving a little bit. Well, got through that level. Let me show you what I'm looking at on Peggy. That's what I'm looking at right in here. Trying to give it some room. It popped up to 34 after it got over 25, and then it's backing off a little bit. So it had it's going to have sellers around 19 and a quarter. Well, every 25 cents, I bet. There was a high the other day around 1932. All right, Nasdaq over this 16 level. Would the Dow be a short underneath all this? I don't know. It's too close to chopping both of them. I really didn't have a whole lot of conviction in Peggy, so I only took 200 shares. May have to be very, very patient on that puppy. Nasdaq backing off. Going back down to the low of the day, maybe? It's in chop, so I don't really know. Nasdaq's, Dow's pulled back to chop. Good morning, Bob. All right, let's get a little bit of a push in Peggy here so I can move my stop up. I can probably move it to 1875. Dow's trying to curl up. Nasdaq tried to break out over that 18 level.
Order filled.
Yeah, gonna have trouble with 23, and this is probably still in chop, so it's probably not all that great.
Order filled.
Should leave that alone.
Order pending.
Get up there, it'll be a, we have a continuation pattern right now.
Order cancelled. Order pending. Order cancelled.
No, no. Apple's still down almost $6, and Peggy's not doing so well. Dow's starting to pull back. NAS is in chop, even though it's giving signals all over the place. Dow would be a short under 94. I think the markets are trying to figure out what's going on. The VIX already pulled back, basically giving up everything this morning. Market's trying to figure out what they want to do.
Order filled.
Oh, you son of a gun.
Order filled.
Hit the wrong key. $69.20. Big level for the Dallas. I mean, was that a Buddy Longbark? I hope so. Still, I'm playing around with fire here. I was trying to put in a buy order above, and I hit the buy button by mistake.
Order filled. Order pending. Order canceled. Order pending. Order canceled. Order pending.
Peggy's pulling back.
Order filled.
So 6,900. Big level. 6902.
Order filled.
Peggy.
Order filled. Stop filled.
I don't know what the hell I'm doing today. I need to stay away from the Nasdaq. I was right in direction, but it was way too whippy. Right there back at 69.04, 02, I mean. And we're trying to do a double bounce, double bottom there. Went right through it. Right on direction, wrong on
Order
timing.
filled.
See if I could do a little bit better in the Dow. We could get a reaction around 290. And so all right. And CPT says buy, or sorry, sell at 84. Hadn't hit it yet. We're at that swing level here, getting a reaction. Just need for it to close lower. NAS is heading lower. CPT entry was hit. I'm showing my momentum oscillator is pointing lower. R squeeze is not really helping me much. That's the shorter term. Battling with 25,300. Come on, going the wrong way. I need it to be a red candle here on the close. If If I lose this one, I'm probably done for the day, folks. I'll have exceeded my maximum loss limit. And Peggy's pulling back, so good thing that we did what we did.
Order filled.
I'm done. I've managed to kill myself. This is one of those days where I am totally out of sync, and that's what the whole idea of maximum loss is about. Protect you from yourself. The biggest thing that I was doing wrong is that I was messing around with all this crap in the Nasdaq and not giving it enough room to wobble. And more than anything else, I was actually in there with kind of a choppy market and trying to play with the black boxes, and I'm just not going to win that. So that was Vern. You and I talked about that yesterday, and well, that's the whole idea. Try to preserve your capital, keep some powder dry. But I dropped a bunch of it there, so right. Now Peggy's starting to try to climb higher. Let's see if we've got any more. I just don't like. See, even Peggy's only at 344,000 shares, and we're over half an hour into the markets. No way. The only stock that has, there's 3 stocks that have volume: Sogo, SYY, and WBT. All over 1 million, with SYY over 2. They're all to the downside. So, I am a little positive with my nugget. On a daily basis on nugget. I'm just looking at a swing to 16 or so. And VIX, I'm basically back to flat. Even though we got up to 38, I still think it wants to go higher. And the spider's pulling back a little bit. My put, I'm minus 50. I'm not worried about that. $271.75 in the down to about $271.50 in the spiders is the area. Apple's down 7. Down to 200. Way off the charts to the bottom. There's a 15-minute chart of the spiders. The daily chart, we got to get below 270. We're basically at the low of the day on the spiders. And the loss that I had on the Dow, I was right in direction. But see, these orders of magnitude bounces they exceeded my stop loss average to range. It's just too volatile. I need to pick a higher time frame and stay with that. It's the only way that I would have been able now, because I have the VXX and the fact that I've got spider puts. There was 271.75. And looking at this 271.30, 271.25 level. There's a 30-minute chart. The spiders. The low on Friday was around 270. VXX heading towards 37 again. Minute on the VIX, the VXX, I mean, approaching 37. Friday we got to 38 on the VXX. And it looks like the markets want to try to bottom here a little bit. Little bounce. All right, I'm going to go silent mic here for just a little bit. There's not a whole lot to see here. Let's. I don't see any of the stocks out there. Peggy's back up to 1937. I guess Peggy go 1940. I just didn't have enough cojones to stay with her. Nuggets up at 15. But Peggy's about the only one. No. My Sienna. All right, hold on one second. Sienna got a nice pop. Alrighty then. 685. My system is going so slow. If it was going any slower, it'd be going backwards. It's toss that's slow. My Ninjatrader is right on time. Anybody have any trouble with Ninjatrader? I'm sorry, with toss being slow today? Is it just me? Alright, Sienna. 525 and 6. What the hell? $6.50. No. That was what I sold it at the other day. $6.85. All right, the VXX is pushing 37 again. Nugget popped up to 15 and backed off. Both of those are swing trades. The spiders pulling back. Also a swing trade. It's at 660. I think I was in. $6.44. All right, thanks, Vern. Well, I did kill one thing that I had working on there, and it's a lot faster right now. I had two versions of it going at one time. Looking at a possible breakout here in VXX, I mean. Go away. I think I'm going to put that puppy in the toilet. There's a little rally in Nasdaq over 78. VXX is going to pull back with that rally unless it fails. And the Dow is struggling to go higher. Actually, that level was 77, not 78 in the NAS. Right here. And it's having trouble. A little bit of a pop in NAS. Got all this resistance to the left to deal with, though. Really not going to get to clear error unless we get up to 86. VIX backed off from that 37 level as the markets rallied, which is what you would expect. And the spiders at 272.37 now. Dow's poking its nose up at the high of the day, near 350. All right, I'm going to show you one thing on the Dow and one thing that I did wrong. Let me bring up the... All right. You remember, I have a zigzag pattern that I talk about. Let me see that. Yeah, okay. And we got to this level right here, a swing level, here. And my pattern is a zigzag around the swing levels. Well, I went short on the second time through, and it should have followed through and gone down lower. The market wasn't ready yet. It bounced up and did a reverse of the mean bounce and then followed through. Now, when I say I did wrong, I just picked the wrong time. Usually the second or third time through, like we were down at this level, we were down there the second time, and it failed the double bottom. It should have followed through, but it did not. All right. This bounce exceeded my volatility stop just, and then it went down and it failed, and it ran to the next levels. I guess if I want to say something I did wrong, well, first of all, I played the odds correctly, the way I would like to do it, is that I had already had too many choppy losses in Nasdaq, which is a whole different problem. I played around in chop, and therefore I got myself to a point where I'd already exceeded my maximum loss for the day. All right. I had to learn a very painful lesson again to stay away from the Nasdaq. All right.
Are you on the radio?
Yeah, I was. What?
Are you on?
I just went mute. Why?
Just wondered if you want the car in the street or in the garage.
What? Sorry, what are you talking about?
Do you want the car in the street or on the garage?
You're not moving my car.
Okay, then you better.
You have never moved. Why?
It's in the garage.
Oh, I forgot I was in the driveway. Sorry, I normally never park because I was going to go out on Sunday, remember? I had no idea why you were asking me. Yes, because I'm saying it. Get out of my way. Thank you. Always be in front. You can't follow from in front. Now stop. Okay? Everybody stop. I know I'm not having a very good day and I'll take it out on you, so you stay away from me. It looks like the markets have slowed down quite a bit. right, was that our 10:30 rally from 10:25 to I guess 10:38? Could be. Well, let's look at SYY and see what it's doing off the bottom. Nah. It's a dead cat bounce there. I think WRK is the same. Yeah. It's a healthy dead cat bounce, but just a reversion to back to flat. Peggy came all the way back again. Lowe's. Lowe's might have been the trade of the day. It did have this big spurt up to 48 and then pulled back to 47.35, and it's basically doing a T-line run. All right, here's a Ninjatrader chart of the VXX and a 15-minute chart. And you can see how we're basically just hugging between 36.5 to 37. Let's look at the spiders. We got as high as 270, 297, let's call it 273. Then we backed off to 271.5. We're kind of in chop here in a 15-minute chart. We're down from the highs on Friday at the open. That would have been the perfect time to short. But always 20/20 hindsight, right? Let me look at the data. Need to load more. This 30-minute chart, the spiders, looks like we're trying to be a little toppy, but then again, I'm looking at it with my brown colored glasses on. Let's look at the Qs. With Apple, looks like we're trying to do a gap fill down to 166. Okay, let's review the markets at 10:50. And crude oil is in rally mode. Let's go to a daily chart though. But it's rallying off the bottom. Gold basically flat. Had a little bit of a pop this morning and then it's kind of consolidating here. S&P is flat. After we did that high wave doji on Friday. Dow's up 92. Kind of trying to grind up to that 25,412. Nas is off almost 100. Probably attributed mostly to Apple. Off $7, 3.5%. And Russell. Russell's looking a little bit toppy here. Needs to get follow through to the downside to confirm it. The VIX is up a fraction of 2050. And the VXX ought to be a little bit elevated based on that, and it is a fraction. All right. Oh, my God. All right, folks, you guys have any questions or anything for me? I'm almost out of here. I've almost, after such a poor performance this morning, I've got give a shit-itis. Need to lick my wounds, go back to the drawing board, look at what I did wrong, fix it for the next time. Probably not a bad idea, Mr. Bob. All right. right, folks. I'll be back a little bit this afternoon, maybe 1-ish, 1:30, something like that. You guys be smart, smarter than me, and be safe. Aloha. Okay, Vern, you could have posted that in the main room. When you say the volatility index on the VXX, are you talking about the volatility stop, the dots? Could you please post a response back in the main, the general chat room? Okay. All these are I'm going to go to a 3-minute chart, which is what you wanted. All right. Now, the VXX and the volatility stops. The volatility stop for the VXX may not be set correctly because the volatility is set for stocks and other instruments that are not necessarily so volatile. All right, let me look at something like Nugget, and then let me go to something more reasonable, okay? These things right here, the little blue dots that you see on there, are the, I guess, recommended stops that you should have. If I were long Nugget this morning, which I was, it said that I should initially have my stop at 1450, then move it up to approximately 1466, 67, 1475 and 77, then move it up to 1490, up to those dots. As soon as it hit this volatility stop, it flips to the other side. Now we're going to rally in the NAS and now the Dow. All right, and now it's it's saying you should be looking at potentially shorts. Now remember, what we covered here is that we didn't have a trend change until we got the crossover here. Now let me take my studies. And the 200. Gonna take those off the chart on a 3-minute. All right, so all I have is the 8 and the 17. that's not all I've got. I've got the 3. But I'm focusing on the 2 primary moving averages. And now it says that I should be looking for shorts. And then it went down here at the bottom, and we're doing a reversion to the mean. We're doing basically a bounce. So the volatility stop here is set. Edit studies. Do edit here. It's set an ATR period of 10, which I don't believe is a problem. But the ATR factor is 1.5. Simple. Well, when we go over to VXX, which is an extremely volatile index, I'm coming into the conclusion that you're going to have, let's see, what do I look at, a 3-day pattern or something like that. Let me go back to other than just today, just to verify it. Time frame. Let's make it 3 days, 3 minutes. All right, so let's go over during the regular trading hours over on Monday, Friday, Wednesday. Now you see how the volatility dots pretty much match the, pretty much don't have enough, unless it's trending. Okay, let me back up. Excuse me. The volatility dots are too close because there's too much volatility. That 1.5 times a standard deviation is not enough, which means that this instrument is extremely volatile. So 1.5 should be enough in most cases. In this one, it's not. If you're going to use the volatility stop, now it was here when it was trending. It wasn't when it was in chop. But if it's in a really strong trend mode, it does tend to work. But only when it's in a strong trend mode. Let's go back over. Thursday. When it was in a strong trend mode to the downside, it's working. But when we're anywhere near neutral, it doesn't work. Well, there's 2 problems with that. Is it doesn't work, but we should not probably be trading that. Now let's try to look at Friday. Here's the upward trend with the pullback. Remember what we were talking about yesterday about this being the volatility stop is a recommended stop, but in fact, based on the pullback and where the moving averages are and the fact that we had a price level over here, I would have made it around 36.40. Now, let's play around with the volatility stop. Pull this over here. I'm going to pull it offline. And I'm going to edit. What I'll do is I'll do it when I do it. The period of 10 is probably not a bad one. Maybe we do it 8. But 1.5 is definitely not enough. Let me try 2.0 and then I'll hit apply and see what that does to our stops. It moves them a little bit, and I believe I actually went to 2.5 on my Now, I have 2.5 set as the standard deviation. That's 2.5 times. That's pretty wide. That's very, very wide. But that allows you to swing it. If you're going to do extremely short-term trades on it, you may want to have something different. You're going to have to play with the parameters that you feel appropriate. Now, when we're trending, these things are way too wide. Let's go to today. Let me move over. Now, today's been choppy. We're at 11 o'clock. Let me go back in and change the studies. Back to 1.5. Well, not 215. Come on, you silly sack of you know what. It is going so slow. Now, okay, apply. I'll back it off out of here. All right, now I'm zoomed in. This is our standard 1.5 standard deviation. Oops, one thing I've got wrong is I have the 8 instead of the 10. Let me reset it back to 10. All right. If you're going to do extremely short-term trading, this might work. However, the problem is, I believe today is a problem of us being extremely choppy with very little trend. All right, and remember, this is off of the SPX. Now, if you look at it on Friday and whatever, when we're in chop mode, it doesn't quite work very well, but when you're in trend mode, it works extremely well. Maybe a little on the tight side. I'm not sure that the average to range works very well on the VXX. Does that make sense to you, Vern? Based upon what we've got here, my indications are that the instrument itself is extremely volatile, and you're going to have to give it wider stops. Now, let's go look at something like PEGI. Not PGI. PEGI. If this had been a plane that had crashed, we would have died 15 days later. This is terrible. And I've given it a lot of I'm giving it a lot of memory, so I'm not sure what the heck's going on. Task manager. It doesn't have very much memory free. I have no idea why it's waiting for data. You see how this is instantaneous? This means it's tossed. It tosses a piece of junk right now. I'm getting very, very frustrated with it. All right, let's go to a 3-minute chart. All right, you see how these dots work fairly well? All right, maybe that's not such a good idea. Let's look at Nugget. It would have stopped us out of 1491 on a 3-minute chart. Let me go to a, I'll set it back. All right, 5-minute. Let's look at SKT. It's working. Young China. It does tend to work here. There's a 3-minute chart. Does tend to work. Let me see something that. No. I'm looking for something that is a reasonable chart. CNA. See how this works? And it does pull back. All right. Now, Vern, you're going to have to figure out the settings, and the settings are not necessarily going to be totally universal for all instruments. If you're going to trade the VIX, you may or may not want to use a volatility stop as a notional let's go where this is a 2-minute. On the VIX. Sorry, 3-minute on the VIX. Well, first of all, it was very choppy today. But even if we go back to Friday, it moves probably far too much to be using the volatility stop. Because the volatility stop moved here from 36.95 up to 37.19. Now, is that unreasonable? Maybe not. But remember what we had at the 10:30 and 10:45 areas. If you want to swing trade it, you're going to have to give it more room. If you're going to quick trade it, maybe the volatility stop isn't even close enough. Maybe you need to take them away and just use the candles. I think it's too volatile. Now, what would take away the volatility? Let me go with this a bit. 15 or 30 minutes takes the volatility away. Now my volatility stops work. There's a 30-minute. There's an hourly. Now, look at the stop, though. We're currently looking at, let me just go to a daily. And that's what I was playing with. It's telling me I have to have somewhere below $36 for the stop, even though I'm long $36.75. But what on the hourly chart? basically there's 36.77. Now I'm below the volatility stop because it's really tight. And now it says I'm under. I'm not sure it works. Now there's a 30-minute. Now let me check. Why would that 60 flip there and the 30? Oh, we had a 30 flip at 3 o'clock on Friday. Okay. It's you have to set a volatility stop based upon the instrument, I guess. And this one is extremely volatile. Now, how would we figure that out? I have an average true range on a daily basis of 7.4%. 7.5%. Let me look at Nugget. 8.29%. Let me look at GLD. Doesn't show. Let's look at spiders. 2%. It's almost 3.5 times the volatility of the spiders. Right. So I've probably beaten that dead horse enough, but you're going to have to decide and watch it and find out what works for you. I'm not sure that that's going to work. All right. Hope that helps.